Hey, welcome back all you DIYers. Hey, today we're out on a campsite today and I just want to show you a few things that we do on our off time. This is some of the things that I've done around our camper, and hey, let's just go ahead and take a tour and let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're gonna start with is kind of our setup and everything as we get to our campsite and get everything ready to go. We do go through a few things, and one thing that one of the other YouTube videos that I watched, I give credit to Changing Lanes. Walkie-talkies. My gosh, it is so much easier to be able to talk to whoever your wife or whoever your partner is, that to get back in, to get squared away where you need to go, rather than trying to yell across the campground, is to just talk into walkie-talkie. You don't need to make a big deal of it. It's not a great big thing. And all I do, I just stick mine in here as I'm trying to steer and turn and I'm looking. I can just grab it and talk, I'm not having to set it down. It's just easy enough to set here. When you're done, you take it out. Heck, we even use it during our setup as we're making sure power's hooked up, the slides are out, the rugs are out, whatever. We're still using these. So it does come in really handy, and it maybe even might save your marriage. Who knows, you know. But hey, so one thing I want to show you here as we start getting ready to get set up. Here, I'll show you. We start looking at different things here. We start, of course, you know, the levels and stuff here on here. I do have this one a little bit off. I think with the heat and everything, these have kind of settled a little bit. I need to go back and double check these, but I do have a small torpedo level that I use, and honestly, I just set it on the frame down here. I just set it on the frame and make sure everything's level the way I like it. Heck, there's even another level in here. That thing is not even true. So as you're working things, make sure you want to double check things out. Just everything works a little better when things are actually level. So back to that, when we get slide into where we want to start, the big thing, side to side, make sure you're balanced, you're leveled out side to side, you get pulled into where you need to. And if you do have slide outs and things like this, make sure you're not going to be hitting anything. One person said it's a good idea. You can almost set here, and it's about the length of your arm from the RV out to your shoulder. So, you know, that gives you a good idea. You don't have to take a tape measure out. It's just, yep, I'm about this far away. I know that's how far the slide outs go. So you know you're not going to be hitting that post or anything like that. Look to see where, if you got full hookups, look to see where you're going to be hooking things up. Once you get your level done the way you need it to be, then you're going to level it out front to back. Once you get those done, chalk your wheels. Don't forget, you know, get those wheels chalked in there too. Then you can start setting down on these on the stabilizers. These are stabilizers. They're not lifts for your vehicle. They are stabilizers, and you don't want them completely ran down as far as you can. If you can put something underneath them to bring them up a little bit, it gives you more stability as they're up there. If these things are ran all the way down, they don't give you as much stable ability when you're up like that. So once you get the stabilizers in, then we start looking at getting your electricity hooked up, and that's something we can go look at back here. All right, at this campsite here, I am still, we've been camping, I don't know, on and off weekends, I don't know, half a dozen times a year for probably the past 5-6 years. And I do need to probably go ahead and get an electrical surge protector to make sure that the power we're getting provided to our RV is good, clean power. We're not going to damage anything with it. I guess I've kind of rolled the dice here a little bit, and so far, knock on wood, man, I wish I had a piece of wood here. But hey, hopefully nothing will happen, and you know, we'll get one here soon. So our next thing, once we get our electricity hooked up, of course, then we can get our slide outs out and everything, and then we're starting to get our sewer hooked up if we have that option. This one here, we actually had to go out and buy another length that we had. One thing we did was, the first one we got had an elbow at the end of it, and that would have been fine if all we had was one hookup. But in this RV, we do have 2 gray tanks and 2 black tanks. So we have 2 hookups. We have one up here and then one that's right here behind me underneath this back slide out. So, and of course we have the supports and everything here underneath the pipe and everything to hold everything up and get everything connected. All right, as for water, this is what we got hooked up here right now. Really do like the idea of having a Y here right at the hookup. For some reason, if we do need water outside, it is just easy as just turning this on here. We got water out here so quick and easy. Just don't forget to take them with you, because these are some nice ones we have on here. And any of the stuff I can find, I do try and find some of the stuff on Amazon. So I will try and put some of the links to stuff I've found on Amazon down below. The other part of this, as we're going into the RV, let's go over there. A filter is always nice to have a filter in here, and here's a 90 here, so this thing is not holding down. This flex piece here is really nice to have for the hookup. Of course, another shut off and everything here works out nice, and we do have a pressure reducer here. I've had a lot of people say that maybe I should have the pressure reducer back over by the faucet. These are fairly decent hoses. I think they're going to hold out just fine for right now, but I may end up putting it back over there later. All right, so continuing our tour around, we're kind of getting back to the back of the RV here. As you can see, we got a couple bikes sitting here on the back. All I've done is just built a bracket for the bike hauler to be on here. I know these bumpers are not made for a ton of weight or anything, but we do have a couple of lightweight bikes on here. We do have a grill mount that's on the back, and of course our spare tire. As you can see down here also, I have built some blocks for these. These here are really nice because we can use them in 2 different directions. If we need to get some real height out of these, we can turn them on their sides and use them that way also. So this is really nice to be able to get all these things hooked up. And also we do have a little a shower on the back side of here if for some reason somebody gets feet dirty and don't want them all the sand and everything else getting into the shower. Dogs, maybe you need to rinse them off, or even maybe give them a bath while you're out here. So that comes in quite handy. All right, one of the things when you're RVing and out camping and stuff like that, I think organization is quite key. I think it makes things go so much smoother, so much easier. And this year, finally trying to get down to one of our next organization keys. We got 4 boxes we made this year that I'm actually very excited about. Instead of just, like I said, just shoving everything in here, this is so much better organized now. We have electrical cords and adapters. This is my tools in my fix-it box. Our other 2 that are in here are sewer pipe parts. Then of course our last box we have here is our water lines and adapters. This made a huge difference in our storage area. Just something maybe we can just an idea that we had. Not everybody's system works the same, don't have the same setups, but this is one thing I'm really excited about this year. It makes things a lot easier for setup. So I'm gonna get these put back in here, and I'll show you what's on the other side of this storage underneath. All right, so here we are on the other side, and I'd have to say this side is probably not my most organized, but this is probably the one that I use the most and I'm in and out of quite a bit. So a lot of times the rug goes in here last, the fold-up chairs, a lot of those bigger things like that get stored in here. So, but like I say, on the other side, I do have a toolbox. Oh yeah, my little 9-inch level here, just to be able to put that out there on the tongue to make sure everything is level as you're getting set up. This is that little toolbox here. And honestly, I mean, this was a cheap one. It's a little starter set. I mean, there's some, cut and wrench, pliers, needle nose, a socket set in here. There's some screwdrivers, some Allen wrenches, and then there's a utility knife, some open-end wrenches there on the bottom there. So this will probably get you by, and like I said, bought at Harbor Freight pretty cheap. So other than that, in here on this side, like I said, I have some other bungees, tie downs. Sometimes we use nails and stuff to help hold down the rug and everything. The one thing I will say we have tried to do more and more of is take the drain out of the water heater to make sure that there's not a lot of water and stuff being stored in there. Seems like over the time it seems to develop a bit of a smell and it's kind of rotten eggs, sulfur, and if we can drain that thing out, it seems to really make a lot of difference. So we always try to make sure that that is one of the things we do right before we leave. And of course, put a new one in, put the plug back in when we get there. So, all right, let me go to the back in the kitchen outdoor. All right, now that we're back at the kitchen outdoor, the outdoor kitchen, come on. All right, one thing, this is very useful. We did end up having to, for some reason, the refrigerator we had in here did not hold out. To be honest with you, it wasn't keeping my beer cold enough. So we got a better refrigerator. But the outdoor kitchen on these things, be a better consumer. I would like to go back to myself, 3-4 years ago when we bought this, and just to be a better consumer, I would have gotten the much bigger kitchen back here. I don't know if it was an option at that time, but we do have a bunch of storage inside, but all it is storage, and I think it would have been much better to have a larger kitchen on the outside. We could have had the outdoor TV actually mounted in here and had a bigger refrigerator then too, but I don't know. It just, to go back and tell past me to look at something like that, that would have been great. And hopefully maybe this will help you out to be a better consumer too. But honestly, this drawer right here, don't even use it. So to be able to have some better storage up here, this is mostly stuff here for doing some barbecuing, to start some fires in the fire pit. And this is the water connections, and I think there's a tarp here to put over some firewood. For the most part, we don't have much out here. Like I said, mostly this is to keep my beer cold out here. So that's about all we have out here. I do have a smoker here. I do have our lounge chairs sitting out back here. But here, we'll go ahead and turn you around here and we'll take a look at some more stuff. Alright, so now we're right here in the middle of the RV on the fun side, table, awning, and we do have our TV mounted on the outside, right on the side, because of course, like I mentioned before, we do have a small outdoor kitchen. But hey, we may do with what we can, make it ours. And I think that was the biggest thing I've really learned over this last year is, hey, you can go through, do it yourself, and make it your own camper, just like your house. You're going to make things more convenient for you in your house. You know, this was a big thing for me this year, was really making the RV ours, making it more convenient for us. And that's some of the upgrades we're going to be showing you here coming up in the next couple of episodes. So, hey, thanks for joining me. Share it, like it, subscribe to it. I hope you enjoyed the little tour around here. Just do it yourself, make it your own, and hey, we'll see you next time.